Matthew. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here with this presentation about Colombia opportunities for this trade mission to value-added feed and pet food ingredients. We are happy to be here. Thank you for Food Export for the opportunity. I would like to introduce myself. Next slide, please. I'm Leonardo, and I am with River Global, the market representative for food export in South America, focused in Brazil, Chile, Colombia, and Peru. And I'm joined here by Alejandra Bustos. Next slide, please. Alejandra,
Good
please.
morning, everyone. So happy to be here.
Thank you. So I'm pretty sure, and I know some of you in here already, so thank you. I see some familiar names in the audience. Thank you for being here. I'm pretty sure many of you know about Colombia, but in case you don't, we would like to give you an overview about the country before we get into the specifics about animal feed. So, Alejandra, can you help me with that, giving an overview of Colombia, please?
Certainly. Thank you, Leonardo. Well, just some basic info to understand a little bit more about the context of Colombia and the opportunities we have here. Is the third most populous country in Latin America. And we have a very concentrated population in the main cities, especially the capital. So that helps a lot in terms of trends and tracking what's happening with the consumers is very easy based on our the behavior of the consumers here in the capital city and the top two second cities. We're also the third largest economy in South America. We have been experiencing recently in the last 5-10 years a lot of expansion in middle class consumers and the access and the availability for more income from professional young consumers. And there's a lot of also women entering massively the job force, which also helps to have sometimes double income households. So that's driving a lot of the consumption trends in the country. In terms of logistics, Colombia is very convenient as we have access with very big ports, both in the Pacific and the Atlantic. In this case, I would say the most used port for this type of products or this segment of the industry would be over the Pacific with Buenaventura. But we also have the Cartagena port in the Atlantic, which can handle a lot of different types of products and huge volumes of imports per day. The other important thing to understand about Colombia is our free trade agreement. It has been in force since 2012. We have been seeing how this has impacted the increase of imports for US products and especially for agricultural products. And nowadays we are the leading US agricultural destination in South America. There's a lot of products that have 0% tariff or reduced tariffs. Some of those products, especially commodities, are also subject to quotas. But in general, we are very dependent on those international sales for many of the inputs we need for this segment of the industry and for many other agricultural needs. So currently, the overall US agricultural trade from the US to Colombia, it's close to a total of $4 billion. Relating to the feed inputs that are mainly imported here in Colombia from the US, it's everything related to corn, soybean, and rice in all their processed formats, cakes or meals or any other presentation pellets, especially because not only we need the actual products to come from foreign markets, but also we don't have a lot of processing capabilities or technology to add value to these products. So that's why it's even more competitive for us to bring the products either raw or processed than to do it here within our domestic industry. And finally, we have been experiencing a lot of this millennial, centennial shift in terms of the nuclear house. Now we are seeing a lot of young couples that are not planning to have children, and usually families are now more interested in having pets, even more than one pet. And we have been seeing in the recent years that especially dog and cat food and products related to pet care for cats and dogs, it has increased in 80% in the last 5 years. So it's a really welcoming market, and there's a lot of demand from the consumers, especially for innovations and for anything related to top quality nutrition for their pets. I think, Leo, you have the next one.
Yes, thank you very much, Ale, for the great overview about Colombia. And this is something interesting I would like to add in here about the pets in Colombia. For us that are always around Bogota, especially, it's kind of normal, but I've noticed accompanying some US companies to Colombia that they all note the amount of dogs walking on the streets. So this is something that it's very noted by the foreigners going to Bogota. There has really been a large population of dogs and cats, and this boosted pet food also, and then an opportunity for pet food ingredients. Coming back from to animal feed in general, what Alejandra mentioned about the commodities mostly, so corn, soybean, rice, this is something that always tops the value of exports from the US to Colombia. Of course, this is used in food and feed in great volumes, so it comes always ranking first. And there are many reasons for that. Alejandra mentioned about technology, as Colombia is not as efficient as in the US regarding that, although labor cost in Colombia, it's lower. But there are opportunities also, and especially if your company has additives, supplements, vitamins, premixes. So this is the type of ingredients that could be used either if you have the commodity or the additives for the feed production in general. It's interesting to note that from all the imports in Colombia, 65% goes to poultry. And poultry is something that Colombians consume it in a variety of dishes all around the country. Then we have 25% into livestock and swine, and then aquaculture and pets coming third. Pets growing each year because, as we've seen, a huge population of dogs and cats. In fact, almost half of the Colombian houses will have one pet. So this is something interesting. And Colombia is already in the top 10 destinations for US dog and cat food exports. And then this is just a interesting number here related to finished products. We have the currency fluctuation that you must be aware in Colombia. Last year, $1 was over 5,000 pesos for the first time in history. This has now been more established, favoring imports. So currently it's a little bit under 4,000 or varying about 4,000 pesos, so more than 20% of what it was last year. Colombia is very price sensitive, and especially when we're talking about pets, Colombians in general, they treat pets as a family member, so they would like to invest in quality pet food products. I'm not sure if any of you have ever had the chance to go to Colombia. You should, and in Colombia, you will note it's probably the kindest people you will ever meet. So Colombians are very kind and they treat everyone well. And So that would not be different also when talking about animals. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's go into some other information about animal feed ingredients when we're talking about animal protein production and then pet food, okay? So I've mentioned already poultry as the driver for the corn imports, which, by the way, this year, for yellow and white corn, Colombia ended with the quotas that they had due to the free trade agreement. So this is an opportunity. When there is no corn or the prices go up, sorghum is an alternative used in Colombia feed processing industries. So the industry is, it is an industry in Colombia worried about innovations, about environmental topics. So this is something that we see in Colombia, this worry not only for food, but also for feed. And then you will have, as I mentioned, some good opportunities on additives. Digestive additives that helps in digesting is something that we would like to highlight in here in case your company has it. Also, feed concentrates that would assist in nutrition is something also to highlight. I've mentioned the corn quota ending in 2023, and I had mentioned already a demand for additive supplements and mixes. However, Colombia also, for the more economy lines, will have some opportunities for residues and for renders of animals. So anything that could come from these subproducts of slaughterhouses could be also used, okay? Interesting thing to note in Colombia, it is a very well-established market for feed ingredients importers. They are there, they are used to importing already. There is a market, there is a flow already coming from the US to Colombia, as we've mentioned, not only for commodities, but also for additive supplements and vitamins and mixes. So there are opportunities for animal feed ingredients in Colombia. This industry exists, the importers are there, the distributors are there, it's already well established and already with a relationship with the USA, okay? As for the pet food, Nutresa, which is the largest food manufacturer in Colombia, that they own a lot of food brands in Colombia, they are into the pet food segment already. So there is the demand for new suppliers of ingredients in Colombia. And as we've mentioned, 80% growth in the number of animals in Colombia in the last 5 years and keep on growing. This market is growing 6% per year in Colombia or more. So there, if your company sells flavors, additives for pet food production, this is an opportunity in Colombia. As we've mentioned, they treat as a family member, so premium human-grade pet food and ingredients, especially for dogs and cats. Most of the Colombian pets, by far, dogs and cats, okay? Also, treats is something that is growing in Colombia. So if you have ingredients to make treats, especially flavorings, this will be something interesting. Wet products in pouches is also trending in Colombia. So also an opportunity there. And then we open to meat pulp products, okay? And that could be into salmon, meat, chicken, vegetables, or anything related, okay? The largest retailers are also looking more into private label, not only dry food, but especially wet food treats, mixers. So this is also expected to grow not only because of the trend going on, but because we have seen the largest retailers looking for these kind of products, okay? There will be opportunity also because the hard discount format is so large in Colombia. So we will have some opportunities for economy ingredients. And again, family member, they want to indulge their pets. So this innovative beer, ice cream, cookies, cakes, and all that, birthday kits for pets, and all of those. This is something that has been um, growing in Colombia. Okay, now going into the best prospects as a summary of all of what I've said in here. Um, you will have the listing there: soybean oil and oil cake, feed, grains, additives, supplements, vitamins, antibiotics, mycotoxin absorbents, sweeteners, flavors, oils and fats, flours and meals, prescription diet additives, and other pet food products. And this is interesting. If you have products more into the pharmaceutical side that will add to prescription diet, let's say uh, a dog with kidney problems that must consume a pet food that will help in that. So if you have the additives for that type of pet food, this is also something interesting to pay attention. In Colombia, there is a good opportunity in there. If your product is not listed in there, it doesn't mean it's not a good prospect. In this case, please reach out to us and we will check for an opportunity or not for your product into Colombia. Okay, we will be happy to do it. Next slide, please. Now going into the itinerary, or what we think about for this trade mission. Should you join us? And I expect you do. I want to meet you in Colombia and have you take advantage of the opportunities in Colombia. So we suggest you arriving on Tuesday, February 20th, at any time in Bogota, so that you have time to relax in there before starting the 2-day full agenda of activities. We will start on Wednesday. There are some red-eye flights that comes to Bogota very early in the morning. You could explore that possibility, but then you have to go straight from the flight to the agenda. Okay, but we expect to start in the morning, an early morning actually, with a market briefing so that you can learn more about Colombia, about regulatory, about the market. So you start your immersion into this market, okay? And then maybe the end of the morning, afternoon, go to a farm shop, retailer, or a processing plant. It depends on the group. We will not say which kind of tour we'll do. It depends of what are the products for the group that registers, but this is the idea. And this may be outside of Bogota or so, or in the surrounding cities. So that's why we would most likely have to start our market briefing early to have time to do that. Then on next day, on the Thursday, we will have a full day of activities, starting in the morning with one-on-one meetings, then a lunch with the trade, and then resume for the one-on-one meetings. There are flights that depart to the US very late night, like after 11 p.m. or some in the early morning. At around midnight, 1 a.m. So that's a possibility to go back to the US or next day, or even better, if you take advantage, you are there and stay a couple of days to get to know Colombia. If you've never been there, it's an amazing country. So this is something you should do once you're going there. And I would like also to show some pictures. Next slide, please. This kind of events in Colombia is something that we have been doing. So we'll have 3 pictures in there. If you could click twice. Yep. So here we are. We have already, Colombia is our star in South America. This is a country that if you want to explore South America, it's where you should start. So it's the first country you should explore in South America. It has a free trade agreement with the US. It's convenient in terms of ports and logistics. And it's compared to other countries in the US, the regulatory, it's simpler. So this is why we have been doing those trade missions in Colombia so successfully, and we have so many success stories in Colombia. So next slide, and thank you for your attention in here. And as I've mentioned, if you have any questions or if you would like to check about your products, I'll be happy to assist you. And I think I'll get the presentation back to you, Matthew. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leonardo and Alejandra. To get to prices and registration deadline, this is a focused trade mission, and because of the focused nature of it, space will be limited, so be sure to register early. We have an early registration deadline of October 19th, 2023, where you can get in for $425. Our standard registration deadline on November 29th, the price will rise to $625. And if you would like to register for this event, please visit foodexport.org and check under our buyers missions. Some of the services provided by Food Export at Focus Trade Missions, you'll get one-on-one meetings with qualified buyers, pre-event custom product research, including market overview and distribution analysis, market briefing by a local USDA Foreign Agricultural Service, a retail store tour, tabletop showcase, inclusion in the trade mission brochure, and on-site assistance by Food Export and market representatives. If you would like some more information on this event or getting registered for it, I highly encourage you to contact your liaisons. I'm Matthew Lorenz, but we have other liaisons, Abby Clark, also in the Midwest, Logan Zweifel from the Philadelphia office, and Deborah Ingravallo from the also from the Philadelphia office. So please feel free to reach out to any of them if you have any questions. And for liaisons, your assignments, you have been assigned companies to reach out to. All right, this is a section where we can take questions in the chat. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to relay them to Leonardo and Alejandra.
Thank you for the presentation, Leonardo and Alejandra. When we talk about feed ingredients, are those mostly imported by container loads because they're like a commodity type? And are pet food imported in container loads as well?
Okay, thank you for the question. So it will depend on the ingredient. So if we're talking about grains in general that will come in cargo ships in bulk, then if we're talking about a premix, that's gonna be around a 10-pound bag. So it depends on the ingredient. It could be a tote, it could be a barrel. So it pretty much depends. When we're talking about pet food, the more specialized ingredients, so some flavorings, they could come in boxes or and then it depends on how much you use of those. That could not even be a container. Some companies would might import, it depends on the additive by pallet. So it depends on the volume of use to produce a certain animal feed product or pet food. When we're talking, then you've asked about pet food, then Colombia imports a lot of pet food, finished pet food, and then it's all kinds of formats, as I've mentioned, the wet products, and then all of the lines of pet food products, like 1 kilo, 2 kilo bags, up to 15 kilo bags. So it really depends on what type of feed, but there will be opportunity for a wide range of products in Colombia. And the importer that you were dealing with, there will be very large groups such as Grupo Bios and other smaller, medium-sized importers and distributors in Colombia. So it's a well-established market. There will be opportunities for all sides. Yep.
Yeah. If we could, looks like we do have a question that came in. Will there be buyers from other countries in the region participating in this mission?
No, this mission is all focused in Colombia, but there are opportunities for animal feed ingredients in other countries in the region, for which you may take advantage of the market builder. And then not only to learn about the products with the market scan, but also to meet buyers for your products with a rep finder.
All right, and
let me just add something. Some of the large companies in Colombia that I've mentioned that it's so established, although there will not be buyers from Colombia, some of those larger Colombian companies, they distribute to neighbor countries also. So it's not that it's a buyer, but the product may get to other countries also.
How should suppliers expect to transport their products for sampling?
Okay, so it really depends on the products in Colombia. Most likely, it depends on what you have. It may be an opportunity to bring a few in the luggage, but we'll definitely have some freight forwarder to assist into this process. Courier in Colombia doesn't, like FedEx, DHL, and UPS does not work for this type of product.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leonardo. I think that's about all we have time for today. But if you do have more questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them via email if you'd like to contact your liaison. And again, if you have any questions about this event, feel free to reach out to any one of your liaisons. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating with us. And I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you.